All right, what's up? Let me just finish this. Let me make sure we are live and then we will officially begin. How are we? Good to see everybody. Let me just make sure that, all right, YouTube is up. And let me make sure Rockfin is up. We are up. We are up everywhere. And I know we're a little later than usual. Thank you all for thanks for being patient. I know this isn't our usual time, but with the holiday weekend and stuff, I pushed it to a night show. What's up, everybody? Good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is where you're at, whatever's going on in any time zone you're in. If you're checking out the podcast later, what's up? Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. Good to see everybody. Happy Sunday. If you're catching this live, we're a little bit later than usual, and a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. Fun's a weird way to put it, but there's actually a little bit of good news, dare I say. First of all, there's a situation in Texas. That's where we're going to start. We're going to start in Texas with a situation that is possible now in a post-Roe America, and this has to do with both abortion rights and digital rights. So we're going to jump into that first. Then we got some strike news. There's a strike happening this week here in California, and a little bit of a fun good news. So Robert Smith of The Cure, you guys know that The Cure is one of my favorite bands in the whole wide world. Well, Robert Smith went to battle with Ticketmaster, and dare I say Robert Smith won. It's not like we've completely won type victory, but I mean, let's put it this way. I wish more artists would do what Robert Smith did. We're going to be diving into all that. Good to see everyone. Welcome to the show. Let's start in Texas. We're kind of slowly moving towards the good news, but this is not good news. Here's the headline from the Texas Tribune. 3 Texas women are sued for wrongful death after allegedly helping a friend obtain abortion medication. In the first lawsuit of its kind since Roe v. Wade was overturned, a husband seeks damages from women who allegedly helped his ex-wife obtain the medications to terminate her pregnancy. So here's what happened here. There's an ex-husband, his ex-wife got an abortion. There were some women who were friends of the ex-wife who allegedly helped her obtain the medication for said abortion, and the ex-husband is suing those women. Now, here's an interesting thing. One of the big pieces of evidence here is screenshots of a group chat. It says this later in the article. Hold on, here it is. Where is that? The lawsuit relies heavily on screenshots from a group chat the ex-wife had with 2 friends seemingly seeking to help her terminate her pregnancy. Her friends expressed concern that Silva would snake his way into your head. That's the husband. I know either way he will use it against me, the pregnant woman said, according to text messages attached to the complaint. If I told him before, which I'm not, he would use it as a way to try to stay with me. And after the fact, I know he will try to act like he has some right to the decision. So they're getting all these screenshots and they're using that group chat as evidence against these women in this lawsuit, which makes this disturbing on multiple levels. I mean, first of all, the most obvious level, it's disturbing beyond comprehension that something like this can even happen, that a woman can be sued, or the women helping this woman can be sued in a wrongful death suit. The wrongful death, of course, here is the unborn fetus. That's what's going on in this lawsuit. And this is possible in a post-Roe America. And not only that, but these group chats are seen as evidence. Well, what does that mean? That means that your messages are going to be more and more susceptible to people seeking these types of lawsuits. So people who are seeking abortion information, they're in a lot of trouble if you're in the wrong state. And this is why we need end-to-end encryption on all social media messages. Now, full disclaimer here, in this particular case, end-to-end encryption might not have made a difference. And here's why. Going back to the article here, one of the women later told the woman who got the abortion, delete all conversations from today. You don't want him looking through it. Now, that kind of alludes to this guy, the ex-husband, had access to his ex-wife's device. Now, if someone has access to your device, it doesn't matter in that case whether there's end-to-end encryption on your messages or not. If someone has access to your device, they have access to your device. But if this case is to be victorious for the husband, or even if it is to hold water in a court of law, you're going to see more stuff like this, and social media messages are not going to be safe, especially since this is something from August of this year, but this is a good reminder of something that can happen. Facebook turned over chat messages between mother and daughter, now charged over abortion. So Facebook turned over chat messages to law enforcement between a mother and daughter because it had to do with abortion. And Facebook has said on occasions that they will willingly cooperate with law enforcement in these cases. So you have social media platforms, Facebook definitely being the most prominent one, at least as of right now, that's saying, yeah, we'll turn over messages to law enforcement when it comes to abortion rights and stuff like that. They don't care. So this is why we need end-to-end encryption on all social media messages. And there's somewhere you can go to sign the petition to make that a reality. And it's called makedmsafe.com. That's makedmssafe.com. Makedmsafe.com. Let me go ahead and show it. Makedmsafe.com. Open letter, make DM safe. Facebook recently handed over direct messages between a mom and her teenage daughter to police. That's the thing we just referenced. Now they're being persecuted under the state's anti-abortion law in an increasing dangerous world. There's one simple thing every messaging platform must do right now: make our messages safe using end-to-end encryption. So that's something we can do to fight back. Now, again, even though it may not have made a difference in this case, if someone has access to your device, they have access to your device. Don't let anyone have access to your device. But yeah, so that's a pretty disturbing story out of Texas. We'll continue to watch it as it unfolds. Now, here's something that's happening out in my neck of the woods, Los Angeles, California. This is from More Perfect Union. This is going to happen next week. There's going to be a strike, folks. There's going to be a strike. There's going to be a strike as this tweet slowly loads. Last night, with upwards of 45,000 supporters, SEIU Local 99, the Union of LA School Bus Drivers, Custodians, and other staff members, announced a 3-day strike next week. UTLA Now, the teachers union, will honor the picket line, and LA schools will shut down. So this is happening next week. I believe at the beginning of next week, a strike is happening. The custodians, bus drivers, other staff, they have had enough, and they are shutting, and they're going to shut it down. They're going to straight up shut it down. Here's what the SEIU has to say to get you a little more information here. And I'm excited for this. I seldomly see a strike I don't like. In fact, I can't really think off the top of my head a strike I haven't liked. But here's the strike alert. It's going to be happening March 21st through 23rd. Thousands of cafeteria workers, bus drivers, custodians, special education assistants, and other essential school workers of LA schools will lead a 3-day strike to protest the school district's unfair practices. Teachers will be joining. Here's some quotes here from Executive Director Max Arias. As LAUSD parents and workers, SEIU Local 99 members know a strike will be a sacrifice, but the school district has pushed workers to take this action. Families have been sacrificing for far too long on poverty wages. Students have been sacrificing for too long in school environments that are not clean, safe, or supportive for all. Too many workers have been subjected to harassment simply for demanding change. Enough is enough. So they're going to go on a 3-day strike, March 21st through the 23rd. And again, here's another example. The stuff they're going on strike for, they shouldn't even have to ask for. Living wages, decent classroom conditions. These are things you shouldn't have to ask for. And this is the state of California. Where is all the money actually going? It's not going to the teachers. It's not going to the staff. It's not going to the workers. It's not going towards helping the students. Where is it freaking going? This state, as of recent, has a surplus. We can have decent education funding. Where is this money going? So it's amazing that they have to do this. And this is happening all over the country. California is certainly not unique. Do you know any teachers? Do you talk to them? It's mind-blowing what anybody in education has to say right now. People are leaving the field entirely because teachers are overworked. They're underpaid. They have to deal with bureaucratic BS 99% of the time. They just want to teach. And they can't really do that. Talk to a teacher. And you will come off of, I mean, honestly, whenever I talk to someone who's a teacher, anywhere from K through university, to tell you the truth, at least in the United States, after the conversation, honestly, my thought is I'm so glad I don't have children. I'm so glad I don't freaking have children, because it is so nuts what's going on right now. So that's happening, and we will monitor this strike as it's happening. We'll probably be covering it over on Status Coup more extensively. You know that I'm on Status Coup on Thursdays. Now, I haven't been on recently on Thursdays because they've been on the beat in East Palestine, Ohio, which it's a bummer to miss everybody on Thursdays, but it's really important stuff, so I get it. But we should be back this coming Thursday. That's myself and Tina Desiree Berg. So let's go to The Cure. You guys know that The Cure is one of my favorite bands in the whole wide world. And recently, their North American tour just went on sale. And Robert Smith had some things to say to Ticketmaster. Now, as some of you probably already know, Ticketmaster is a very, very scammy company. We've talked about Ticketmaster a lot on this show. They have a near monopoly on the live concert industry in the United States. It's to the point where sometimes you don't even know if you're buying something from a Ticketmaster affiliate or not, because they have a bunch of other like sister companies and like baby companies and stuff that are under their umbrella, but they specialize in smaller venues and they have a different name. So you're not even sure if something's Ticketmaster or not. It's nuts. Like, that's why I even have the disclaimer. I'm like, I, as a performer, avoid Ticketmaster to the absolute best of my ability. But I can't guarantee I'll never have a situation where Ticketmaster might not be involved. It might be like maybe I'm invited to do a festival. They have a contract with a Ticketmaster affiliate company, whatever. But as a performer, I do my absolute best to avoid Ticketmaster to the best of my ability. And here's something Robert Smith did. Of course, a band like The Cure, they're pretty much going to be Ticketmaster. It's incredibly hard for artists, even at their level, to avoid Ticketmaster. Is it possible? Yeah, Pearl Jam pulled it off. But it's very hard to do. But here's what Robert Smith did. So Robert Smith took to Twitter, and he was demanding answers for all the exorbitant fees that Ticketmaster was charging. And so he got Ticketmaster to budge a little. Here's a tweet right from Robert Smith of The Cure. One of two. After further conversation, Ticketmaster have agreed with us that many of the fees being charged are unduly high, and as a gesture of goodwill, have offered a $10 per ticket refund to all verified fan accounts for the lowest ticket price transaction. So that wasn't every ticket holder or anything like that, but they're giving some money back because of the pressure that Robert Smith put on them, literally by himself. He just took to Twitter. And another thing that he mentioned, I'm also going to bring this up that I tweeted. So here's something that I tweeted. This is important to note here. Robert Smith is single-handedly cracking down on Ticketmaster. A singer from the UK is more effective than the Senate and all antitrust enforcement in the United States, which is true. Robert Smith, a guy who's a singer in a band, not only that, but he's not even a United States citizen. He lives in the UK. He is single-handedly more effective than all quote-unquote antitrust enforcement and the Senate. I mean, they had that Senate hearing at Ticketmaster where everybody yelled at them when the cameras are on, and it resulted in nothing. And it wasn't the first time they had a similar hearing. They have done nothing. Robert Smith single-handedly gotten them to do something about these fees. And I know it's not like, oh my God, we got this huge victory. I know that. But man, this is pretty cool that a guy is using his platform and his basically throwing around his what power he does have. I mean, he's a pretty popular musician. And the other thing that Robert Smith pointed out in here, so we talked about the fair market pricing thing. So there's this thing that Ticketmaster did. It's called like fair market pricing, where basically they let people bid on tickets. So there'll be tickets going for like $5,000 a piece, and then eventually it levels out. And it's just a price gouging scam mechanism by Ticketmaster. It got a lot of attention when Bruce Springsteen tickets were going for $5,000 a piece. And then later it was Taylor Swift. Now, Robert Smith pointed out that, by the way, artists have the right, because it wasn't clear like what the deal was, like were artists approving this or what's the situation there. Robert Smith tweeted and he said, by the way, when this fair market thing was explained to us, we said no to it because it sounded like a scam, because it is. So artists had a say in this. Artists had a vote as to whether or not they participated in this. The Cure said no. And you know what? I mean, we covered the Bruce Springsteen thing on the show. We covered that live on the show. And I expressed my disappointment with the fact that Bruce Springsteen tickets were going for $5,000 a pop, and Bruce was pretty unapologetic about it. And I was disappointed. I still love the music. And I still think Bruce Springsteen has used his platform to do a lot of good. He raises a lot of food for hungry people. He uses his platform to do a lot of good, and he still does that. And I would never, try to, I would never try to downplay that in any way. But when it came to this ticketing thing, man, that was disappointing. And now you're seeing that, well, yeah, the artists okay it. So I don't know if that means that Bruce Springsteen or Taylor Swift as an individual did that. I have no idea. But somebody, either the artist themselves or a direct representative for them, okayed it. And in the case of The Cure, Robert Smith was directly involved, and he said, no, we're not doing it. And I really think it's an interesting paradox to see, because here you have, Bruce Springsteen is considered like a working class hero in the United States. Meanwhile, like he just said, yeah, whatever, we're going to do what everyone else does, deal with the fair market ticketing thing. And Robert Smith, just the socialist in the UK, is like, hey, Ticketmaster, we want answers, and I'm not going to stop hounding you until you give some refunds. And by the way, here's your refunds. Pretty badass. I got to tip the hat. Pretty badass on Robert Smith. Good job, Robert Smith. Kudos. And, I'm a big Cure fan. And I'm a big Springsteen fan, too. I love Springsteen's music. And, again, he has definitely used his platform for a lot of good over the years. But the Ticketmaster thing, that was disappointing. That one hurt. Whereas Robert Smith, he did something really freaking cool. Robert Smith did something really freaking cool. And I'm pretty sure Robert Smith identifies as a socialist politically. I don't think he talks about it a whole lot. But here's a guy used his platform to say, hey, Ticketmaster, you are giving something back. Sorry. So, hey, have we won the battle with Ticketmaster for good? We have not. But not a bad start. Kudos to Robert Smith. And let's see the actual. Let's go to the nice, polite Republicans over at NPR to see the direct story around this. Robert Smith of The Cure, this is from Nice Polite Republicans, or NPR, convinces Ticketmaster to give partial refunds and to lower their fees. One cure or a treatment, see what they did there? At least for high Ticketmaster fees, turns out to be The Cure frontman Robert Smith, who said he was sickened by the charges and announced Thursday that Ticketmaster will offer partial refunds and lower fees for The Cure tickets moving forward. Cure fans who already bought tickets for shows on the band's May through July tour will get their refunds automatically. The announcements came a day after Smith shared his frustration on Twitter, saying he was as sickened as you all are today by Ticketmaster's fees debacle. To be very clear, the artist has no way to limit them. In some cases, fans say the fees more than doubled their ticket prices. Ticketmaster has been in a harsh spotlight in recent years. Last November, Taylor Swift fans waited hours, paid high fees, and weathered outages on the Ticketmaster website. So in January, following the debacle, the Senate Judiciary Committee held a hearing looking at Live Nation, the company that owns TicketMaster, and the lack of competition in the ticketing industry and the lack of Meanwhile, attorneys generals across many states initiated consumer protection investigations. Swift fans sued the company for fraud and antitrust violations, and some lawmakers called for Ticketmaster to be broken up. Ticketmaster did not immediately respond to NPR's request for comment. So the Senate Judiciary Committee, antitrust enforcement in the United States, lawsuits, they are all less effective than Robert Smith tweeting. Robert Smith tweeting is more effective than our Judiciary Committee in the United States. I tweeted at Amy Klobuchar. I'm like, hey, Amy, are you a Cure fan? Because, I guess their singer could help you do your job better. I want to say, too bad Robert Smith isn't a United States citizen. We could elect him to office, but I'm not going to say that. You know why? Because Robert Smith is way cooler as a rock and roll singer than he would be as a politician. And I wouldn't want to do that to him. That'd be terrible. So, crazy world we're living in, folks. A guy who isn't even a United States citizen. And he's done more than our friggin' Senate Judiciary Committee. More than the antitrust enforcement. He's the only one who has gotten Ticketmaster to budge on anything. A singer in a band. A very popular band at that. And a very lovely band. One of my personal favorites. But yeah. So, you know what? Shout out to Robert Smith and The Cure. There's that famous line from South Park, Disintegration is the best, is the greatest album ever. I gotta be honest with you, folks. I like the Kiss Me album even a little bit more than Disintegration. Disintegration is a lovely album, but the Kiss Me album is just one of my favorite albums of all time. The title track, The Kiss, one of my favorite opening tracks. The dun 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 dun. I'm gonna get a copyright strike from YouTube. Like, that was an exact rendition. It sounds just like it. And of course, that's the album that has Just Like Heaven on it. The Kiss Me album. It has Just Like Heaven. It has Why Can't I Be You? Anyway, if you're not into The Cure, I recommend it. Folks, tour dates, I got them. April 14th, Los Angeles, California. That's my second show, getting ready for Edinburgh, my second headlining show. May 12th, Los Angeles, California. Both those shows are at the Glendale Room. They're 10 p.m. shows on a Friday. Get your tickets now at romplacone.com. June 16th, Madison, Wisconsin. June 17th, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Just announced June 23rd, Detroit, Michigan, baby. June 28th, Bloomington, Indiana, coming back to B-Town. It's been a while. Go Hoosiers. And June 29th, Chicago, Illinois. For Chicago, Madison, and Minneapolis, use the promo code Lucy at checkout for an early bird special on tickets. That special's not going on forever, so get your tickets now. It ends soon, so get your tickets now. Don't wait. Edinburgh, I'm going to be at the Edinburgh Fringe Fest. My shows are August 16th through 27th at 4 p.m. daily, or 1600, dare I say, at the venue 32 Below in the Little Cellar. So that's 32 Below, Little Cellar, August 16th through 27th at 4 p.m. I will be announcing all that information formally. It'll be on my website very, very soon. And October 21st in San Pedro, California, my neighborhood. I'm doing a comedy series where I'm bringing in different headliners from LA. Our first show is going to feature Amy Miller. Amy's one of my favorite comics in all of Los Angeles. She's phenomenal. Tickets for all those shows are available at romplacone.com. And if you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do become a patron. Patreon.com/romplacone for a give what you can level. You get all kinds of exclusive perks, including the replay of the Patreon stream, which is coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere for everyone who's catching this live. And full stand-up shows not available anywhere else. Full clips not available anywhere else. All kinds of fun stuff. You can watch my full performance as Lucian the Satirist. That will not be available online anytime soon. And for those of you who haven't yet, please do watch my pilot, Loner. It's out now. It was out for patrons for a long time, but it's out now to everyone. If you just go to my YouTube page, youtube.com/romplacone, it's a featured video there. There's a playlist, so it's all right there. please do check out Loner. And by the way, we're working on episode 2 now. The rest of the series is coming. For everyone who's checking this out live, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back for the Q&A casual patron stream, where we kind of just we do a debriefing on everything else. And I got a couple stories, too, that were sent to me. So don't go anywhere. And to everyone else who's checking this out later, if you're checking out the podcast later, please do leave a 5-star review, would you? And you know the drill. Lucy, she says meow, and I say peace, love, and a general strike.